All right, so listen to this. We're looking at a court case from India today.
Okay.
And it involves a student who needed to change something on his academic certificates.
Mm.
But it's just his mom's name, a tiny little change. You'd think it'd be easy peasy, right?
You would think so.
But this went all the way up to the Chief Justice. Can you believe that?
Wow.
So we're going to unpack why this seemingly simple name correction became this huge legal battle.
Absolutely. This case really highlights how sometimes those inflexible rules, they just clash with basic fairness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in India, you got to understand that academic certificates are like the golden ticket. They're so important for higher education and jobs. So even a little mistake can really mess things up.
Okay, so let's get into the specifics of this case.
Okay.
Talking about Anand Singh. This guy aced his high school exams back in 2006. But here's the catch. His mom's name on the certificates was wrong. It said Lata Devi, but her real name is Muni Devi.
Oh.
And get this, the mistake carried over to his higher secondary certificate too.
Oof. Now that's I mean, imagine trying to apply to college or for a job.
Right.
With a document that has the wrong parent's name on it. That's a red flag, right? It's like, is the certificate even legit? So this seemingly small error could really impact Anand's future.
Yeah, totally. You can see how that would cause major problems.
Absolutely.
So in 2010, Anand, he tries to fix this, reaches out to the Board of Education,
Okay.
even gets his school principal to write a letter supporting him. Seems pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, sounds like it.
But here's where it gets complicated.
Okay.
The board, they have this rule, Regulation 7, and it says you've only got 3 years to make changes to your certificates.
I see. So it's like a statute of limitations.
Yeah, it's meant to protect against fraud and stuff, you know.
Right, like prevent people from changing grades or exam dates or subjects they took way after the fact.
Exactly. But a parent's name, come on, that's not going to give anyone an unfair academic advantage.
Yeah, that's true. It's not like changing your math score to get into a better college or anything.
Exactly.
That's interesting, though. This is where the case takes a turn. Because Regulation 7, it's got this loophole. They call it a proviso.
Okay.
And it says you can fix spelling errors in names anytime.
So on the one hand, they've got this strict 3-year rule, but then they're saying some name changes are okay whenever.
Yeah, kind of a contradiction there, isn't it?
Right.
What does that tell us about how these kinds of details are viewed?
Well, it seems like maybe they're saying that some details are about academic integrity.
Okay.
And others are just personal information.
Yeah, like what's really crucial for the fairness of the system versus what's more about personal identification.
Right.
Interesting.
So anyway, unfortunately for Fiand, the board keeps delaying his application.
Oh, no.
And they finally just rejected in 2013 based on that 3-year rule.
So what did he do?
Did he give up? Not a chance.
He fought back?
Oh, yeah. He took this all the way to court.
Wow.
Filed something called a writ petition.
A writ petition. Okay.
Basically, it asks a higher court to review the decision.
Okay.
And this eventually escalates to a special appeal heard by the Chief Justice himself.
No way. So this little name correction is now in front of the highest court.
Yeah, pretty wild, right?
I'd say so. So what happens next? What did the Chief Justice think about all this?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. Hold on to your hats.
Okay, I'm ready.
The Chief Justice, he didn't just automatically apply the rule. You know,
right.
He and the other judges really dove into the wording of Regulation 7.
Okay.
And like the whole intent behind it, like why does this rule exist and does it make sense to use it in Anane's case?
They were really looking at the bigger picture, huh? Not just like a black and white application of the rule.
Exactly. So what do you think, did the Chief Justice side with the board and that 3-year rule?
Tough to say, but I have a feeling this might have gone in a different direction.
You are absolutely right. This is where things take a bit of an unexpected turn. The Chief Justice actually overturned the board's decision.
He did? No way.
Yeah, seriously. So he agreed that correcting a parent's name shouldn't be bound by that strict time limit.
Wow, so this isn't just about Anand anymore. This has much wider implications.
Right. It's setting a precedent.
Exactly. It's huge. The Chief Justice didn't just say, fix this guy's certificates.
Right.
He made the board rethink their whole process, how they handle these situations from now on.
Wow. So this case is actually like shaking up the system.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
So what was the reasoning? I mean, did he just think the 3-year rule was totally ridiculous?
Not exactly. They recognize that time limits are important.
Okay.
You know, for protecting academic integrity.
Right.
But they said correcting a parent's name that doesn't threaten that integrity.
Yeah.
They even pointed back to that proviso about spelling errors, remember that?
Yeah.
To kind of reinforce their point.
So, like, if you can fix a spelling mistake anytime, why not a simple name correction?
Right, exactly, especially when it's not messing with anyone else's academic record.
It seems like the court was trying to be practical, to, apply some common sense.
Absolutely. It was a strong statement about needing flexibility and a more humane approach, within these big systems.
Yeah.
They basically said, hey, rules are important, but you can't just blindly follow them without looking at the individual situation.
Right. Otherwise, you end up with these unfair results.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm curious. What instructions did the Chief Justice give to the board?
Okay.
Did he just say, approve Anand's application, or was there more to it?
It wasn't just a rubber stamp. They gave specific instructions. Said the board needs to really re-examine Anand's case.
Okay.
Look at all the evidence he gave them, and even ask for school records if they need to.
So they're saying, don't just focus on the rule. Look at the whole picture.
Yeah. Make sure the decision is fair and makes sense.
Right.
Due process, thorough investigation, even in a case that seems pretty simple on the surface.
Interesting. So by telling them to maybe gather more evidence, they're saying go beyond the initial application. Dig deeper to find the truth.
Don't just rely on paperwork and procedures. Use your judgment. Make the right decision based on all the facts.
This whole case really shows the power of individual action, right?
Yeah.
And then could have just given up when those applications were rejected.
Right.
But he fought for what he thought was right.
He did. And it paid off, not just for him, but maybe for tons of other people who might face the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a David and Goliath story.
It is.
This little guy takes on a giant institution and wins.
Exactly.
It gives you hope that, justice can prevail, even when it seems impossible.
Absolutely.
So what do you think happened after the ruling? Did Anand finally get those certificates corrected?
Well, the court documents don't specifically say,
Okay.
but I think it's safe to assume the board followed those instructions.
Yeah.
Reviewed Anand's application with this new emphasis on flexibility.
Right.
And probably corrected the error. They wouldn't want another lawsuit, would they?
I don't think so. It's nice to think that he finally got what he deserved.
It is.
And that his persistence paid off.
It wasn't just for him, though, remember?
Right.
It set a precedent that could help others facing similar situations.
Yeah, this seemingly small case about a name, it ended up changing how those rules and regulations are applied. It's like a tiny pebble creating a ripple effect in a whole pond.
Exactly.
It's amazing how individual cases can sometimes lead to big systemic change.
It really is.
This whole deep dive has really got me thinking about all those times I just accepted things without even asking if there might be a better way.
That's super common.
Yeah.
We see rules and regulations every day that seem pointless or overly complicated.
Right.
But we rarely challenge them. We just think, oh, well, that's just how things are.
Exactly. We get stuck in that's just how it is mindset.
Oh. But this case shows that sometimes pushing back can lead to positive change. Not just for ourselves, but for others, too.
What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to just be like, ooh, bureaucracy, and move on.
Right.
But Anand's story, it shows that we don't have to just accept things the way they are.
Yeah.
He saw something unfair and decided to do something about it.
And he didn't just complain about it, He really dove in headfirst into this complex legal system just to fight for something most people would consider pretty minor.
It is pretty inspiring.
It reminds us that we all have that power, to stand up for what's right, what makes sense.
Yeah.
Even if it means taking on those big, scary institutions.
And it's not always about going to court or anything like that.
Right.
Sometimes just asking why can make a difference.
Totally.
Questioning the reason behind a rule, that can open up a discussion.
Absolutely.
Maybe lead to better understanding.
We forget sometimes that systems are run by people, and just having a conversation with someone who gets it, who understands the situation, that can often lead to a solution that works for everyone.
So this deep dive, it took us through the Indian legal system.
We went deep.
But it's also a reminder that we all have a role to play in making things fairer, more reasonable.
In our everyday lives, too, not just in courtrooms.
Exactly.
It's about questioning assumptions, challenging the way things have always been done.
Right.
And remembering that even small actions can have a big impact.
Like that ripple effect.
Exactly.
So next time you come across a rule that seems unfair or just plain ridiculous, remember Anand.
And that name correction.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Challenge those assumptions.
Push for a better way.
Who knows? Maybe you'll start a conversation that leads to real change.
making things a little better for everyone.
Well, that's a great note to end on.
I think so.
We hope you found this deep dive inspiring.
We hope you learned something.
Remember, even when you're up against a rigid system, positive change is possible.
Keep questioning, keep learning, and keep pushing for a better world.
We'll see you next time.
Bye for now.